Rome is civilization. Rome is order. Rome is power. Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome to my channel. And today we're going to talk about the series Rome. As someone who is very much into history and who especially loves Rome and the Roman Empire and all the ancient civilization. I just started watching the show, and for this video, I've tried my best to look a little Roman, although forgive this a little bit of Egyptian detail. But you get the idea, right? We were talking about Rome, so the Julius Caesar Rome. So of course, a little bit of Egypt is going to come here and there. But let's start with what I thought about the series. I started watching the series because, of course, I love Rome. And a few days earlier, I had watched the film Cleopatra 1999, which was a nice movie. I mean, I really loved the actress, and I was very fascinated with the story of Julius Caesar because I was like, his story is it happened in real life, but it does not seem like it happened in real life because it's so dramatic and it's out of a novel. And so I decided to and also as a person who loves acting, especially roles of kings and queens and royalty and all this drama and glory and all these things, I wanted to watch this show so that I can get the vibe of all that glory and drama and political intrigue, all those things, but also I can watch the acting of people. Acting is a huge thing for me. So that's gonna get a little bit of criticism or appreciation. So let's start. So I don't remember how the series really started, but in the first few, it started with Julius Caesar's army camp. So in the first few episodes, we're just getting Julius Caesar versus Pompey. And I loved, first of all, the casting. The casting for Julius Caesar was amazing. He looked powerful, he acted well, loved it. And we also get these two main character people who are historically true. Caesar did mention them in his journals, but all their story is kind of fictional. So we get uh Titus Polo, and Varenus, who so Varenus is a very um angry but virtuous person who cares about religion and morals and all these things, and Polo is a very strong person, a little bit dumb, and he loves women. He's a player, and yet he's very gentle and compassionate and soft-hearted. So I loved these two characters and the way they developed throughout. I loved their journey, their brotherly love and the feeling of brotherhood, and I loved how they bonded even though they are opposites, because Varenus is this traditional guy, you know, like morals and very conservative sort of a person. But Polo is I just want to have fun. I just want to sleep with as many women as I can. I just want to mess around, sort of a person. So We also get to see Mark Antony in the first few scenes, and we also meet another person who is Octavian. Well, let's come to Mark Antony first. Mark Antony, I loved James Purfoy's performance in this. I mean, how could he like okay. So Mark Antony, I'm telling you, I've always liked Mark Antony as a figure, and I just have a crush on him. And I just have huge standards for Mark Antony when I especially when I watched Cleopatra 1999 and the Mark Antony was so handsome. I was like, this one better be good. And I started watching, and I mean, he wasn't really my type. He was a little old also, and he wasn't exactly the young, dashing, hot soldier. But in like for my but the acting, the aura, and the vibe, the way they dress him, his screen presence, I just had the most, like, the biggest crush on him throughout the series. I was just waiting for him to come on screen. I was just waiting. I want Mark Antony. I want to see Mark Antony. When is his scenes coming? Loved it. I'm gonna go into more detail about him, but now let's start with Octavian. Octavian. I loved the Octavian's little actor. He is he was like very beautiful. First of all, two people that I wanted to watch throughout the series and never got bored of all were Mark Antony and Octavian. Whether it be the small one or the big one, we're gonna talk about the big one, but the small one. So the small one, I mean, the acting is amazing again. I think he is seen to be such an elegant person, you know, very elegant, very classy, not a very traditionally masculine person, but like very intelligent. He is very gentle. He is into like these feminine things, like he paints his sister's nails and likes to choose jewelry and like write poetry and like read and all these things. So he is that sort of person, and the acting did portray how intellectual he is, but at the same time how like he's powerful, and like he like even though he's like put into this feminine stuff, like um as I said, the things that were considered feminine at that time, he's still very arrogant and does know that he is a noble and he is this high class person, and if anybody stands up to him, he will not tolerate that. And he does have this like commanding presence, which people just like bow to. And also at certain times he does look a little bit like a psychopath, or maybe a sociopath, like when he killed his first person this person in the beginning scenes. I was like, without flinching, and this person has never killed another person before, and I know that he was like tortured by that person a lot, but still, like, he just killed him. And that I throughout the series I kept wondering if he is a little psychopathic or like sociopathic, and especially why I kept wondering that, because I had watched Cleopatra 1999 and Octavian was portrayed as a very psychopathic person, and like he was a villain in that story. So I just kept wondering if Octavian is like that. But also we see Atia, who is Octavian's mother. Loved her. all the characters in this story, except like a few, and we're gonna talk about them, but are so well made, and the acting, the charm makes it so much better. Actia's actor and her acting is top notch, and I love that. And she's beautiful, first of all. Very beautiful. The screen presence is amazing. Her jokes land just chef's kiss. But okay, now the problematic thing we're gonna talk about. I think in the beginning scenes, the plot wasn't very good, and the political intrigue is also not very good. Everything just happens. Like Pompey just leaves conveniently, just like his goal is found by Caesar very conveniently. So there are very many plot armors, and like Pompey loses very conveniently. Brutus, like literally, Brutus and his mom are having a conversation. Who are you gonna choose between Pompey and Caesar? And he's like, goes inside for like 2 minutes, and he comes outside, and he's like, I'm gonna choose Pompey because I should stand with the Republic. It's very cut the corners. I'm pretty sure that is not how things worked. And as somebody who is into like, I'm into C dramas a lot, and like historical C dramas, they're like cutthroat with their politics. There's like some Machiavellian 48 laws of power kind of shit going on over there, and so much manipulation, so much political intrigue, and such complex politics and all of these things that watching this in the beginning especially was a little, I wasn't impressed by that, and I just got a little bored with that. Like the good guy or the main character is always going to win, and it's like very convenient for him to win, and like everything just happens very conveniently. And yeah, it just didn't land to me. But at the same time, I think what they did really good was the music. The music for this series, chef's kiss, like the background music. When especially I loved all the music where there was a victory. So like when there is Caesar's victory and he's marching, when there is Antony's victory and he's marching, when Octavian has won in the very last, and amazing music. But and the music certainly makes it better, but I did not like the easy politics. Also, I think that they really cut the corners, especially with the Caesar's death. It happened like so quickly, it just happened. And I was like, even though the scene of Caesar's death was amazing, amazing in the sense that uh the dramaticness, I think I was more like excited for when Varenus found out that his wife cheated on him, and that his wife has a son who is not his. I was more excited for that than Caesar's death. But I think the way that, like, okay, so I'm just saying that the way all those things happened, that Varenus left and like everything was like planned, that was great, and the dramatic effect was great. But how it happened so quickly in this series, and there wasn't very much like build up to it, is what I don't like. And okay, let's also talk about the costume a little bit. I mean, I know we're going here and there and there, but the costume, again, chef's kiss. I don't know how historically accurate this is, and we're not talking about the historical accuracy, by the way. We're just talking about like the beauty. So I loved the when Varenus becomes a like minister and he's wearing that white toga with these things. He looks so handsome. I'm just like, Varenus, bro, you're so handsome. Even though he's not like my type and wouldn't be considered like the most handsome, like I don't know, like Brad Pitt handsome. But when he's dressed in Roman robes, bruh, and especially when he's dressed as a soldier, but I like him better as a toga and as a minister person. So I loved that. I just, in general, I loved Varenus's character. He's like so rooted in his principles that he just makes very hard decisions and he's like, no, I'm gonna, and he's God loving. He believes in gods and like another thing I love about these series is how much it focused on like the religion and how much religion played part in like most of the series. Like they're showing these rituals and these gods and like all of these things, and I don't know about the historical accuracy, but as somebody who loves ancient religions and like keeps learning about them, especially because um that Indo-Aryan theory, and I could see how much the Roman culture was like very Aryan and very Vedic in a sense. Like they cremated their people, and I didn't know that. I thought that only happened in a few places, like maybe Southeast Asia. But no, they cremated their people. They had like animal sacrifices. They had gods like Jupiter and Juno and goddesses and lovely. I think as a person who loves religion, I loved seeing that and like also when you have to curse, they would be like invoking all these hellish deities like Hades and all these people. Loved that. But Varenus's character was like very shocking to me because I think especially now it's hard to find leads who are just so pious, like so principle loving, because everybody wants to be smart and manipulative and like cut corners and go into the world. But this character, it was lovely, but he was also very angry at all times. Yeah, so anyway, let's talk about Vorenus and him killing his wife and his wife's death. Well, he didn't actually kill his wife, and I don't know how in the whole series the children were like, "You killed our mother," but he didn't literally kill her. Would he have killed her he if she didn't die? And a lot of people debate about would he have killed her. Um, I think he wouldn't have killed her, but he would have killed the son. You know, yeah, because he truly loved her so much, and it was like so shocking for me to see because I don't know, you just don't. I don't know, but that was a shocking thing to see. But um, and I loved the scene where Titus Pullo has to die, and he's like fighting the gladiators, and Vorenus should not save him, but he saves him, and like the 13th um voices are going up, and I love that. Then comes I think at this point the season one was kind of over. I was like so emotional when Varenus's wife died. Like I was just having fun throughout the series. But the moment that happened, I was like, oh, that was so sad, and I literally felt a little depressed after that. But yeah. Meanwhile, let's talk about a little more characters. Okay. Um, I loved Atia's and our Anthony's relationship also, even though I wasn't sure what it was about. Like, did they truly love each other? I mean, I was sure that Atia did love Caesar. Oh, sorry. Oh, by the way, she was also trying to seduce Caesar, which did not land on me. I don't think incest was like a thing in ancient Rome, but yeah. So I don't think that I wasn't sure if Anthony loved her though. It it just didn't seem like he did, but I loved their relationship. I loved Anthony in general, and I loved seeing him. I think his jokes landed. He was like so arrogant, but in a charming way. Like he deserves to be arrogant. Like I literally started becoming like him. Like I was like, "Ugh, I don't care. Don't come here. Go away." Like just sarcasm and everything, and oh, and like the scene where he is like in Caesar's position and like handling everything, and somebody comes and he's like, I know you. No, I just pretend to know everyone for political reasons. There are so many things. Like he was just awesome. I feel sad to not see James Purfoy in many seasons. Like many things. Sorry. Anyway, Atia is very powerful. I loved how powerfully powerful she was, like how much influence she had and how she managed everything despite not having a husband. Like, but I also did not understand her and questioned her at a lot of times. Like when she killed her daughter's husband, even though I loved her from the beginning, I was like, this is bad, and why are you doing this? Like, there is no need for this to happen. And also, the Jewish man who is in love with her, I loved him too. Like, he wasn't boring to see, even though he's a side character. That's the beauty of this, that nobody is like boring ever, except a few characters, which we'll come to. Moving further, I also want to talk about the setup, and the whole like Roman setup is beautiful, especially his Adia's home is so beautiful. The little like lions on the I just see a lot of lion carvings, black lion carvings everywhere, and I love that. I'm like, I'm gonna make it in my home someday. And I also loved the food displays. I also loved how Romans used to like sit, like lay down and like have parties and talk. Like we don't do that now. It would seem like very impolite and informal, but these people, they're just and very royally like like lying and like talking and laughing, and I'm like, let's bring that back, bro. um but okay, what else? Oh, Servilla is a character who I did not like to see. Okay, she was a character who I did not like to see. Even though I could understand where she was coming from, like there's no bad or good and there's no right or wrong. But like of course, a lot of bad things happened to her, right? Atia did a lot of bad things, disrespected and humiliated her. Then Caesar just humiliated her and like slapped her. And then she was like, I'm gonna curse Caesar and Atia. I'm gonna plan their downfall. And I could understand her. Totally fair girl. Go it. Do it. But at the same time, I was rooting for Caesar and Atia. I know they're not perfect people, and but I love Caesar. Like I just like Caesar, you know. I don't know. I just have a certain fascination towards him historical figure as Caesar, and yeah, I just want to learn like leadership and stuff from him. So I was like rooting for him, and also I liked Atia, so I was rooting for her as well. And Servilla comes and she acts like this very witchy. I think she acts very witchy, and she acts very not. I don't mean to like villainize witches. I just mean to say that a lot of times she seems very, I want to say psychopathic, but she doesn't really seem psychopathic. It's like she seems a little demonic. Like I remember there was a scene where she was like lying down, and I thought she has she had has died. Like her eyes are completely black, and I don't know if it was like some glitch or something, or like if I saw something wrong, but like her eyes were black and she was like very still, and I was like, oh my god, I feel like she's dead. And then her servant comes and like pushes her, and she's like, oh, so she just gave me the creeps, and she annoyed me a lot of times, but that just means that her acting is good. And Brutus, again, Brutus, I did not hate him. Like, I was like, he's a very weak man, and he was a very relatable, especially during his downfall. He's being strong, but I can understand him, and I can feel the feeling of being a failure. I just felt for him, but not so much for Servilla. Okay, and then comes okay.